French doesn't have these problems because French has a language committee, an official government-appointed board monitoring spelling and usage and syntax and which new words are allowed into the dictionary. Spanish has that too. Isn't that a good idea? Let's monitor our language as it evolves. Let's keep it nice and clear and consistent. For instance, Spanish has no silent letters. Well, isn't that smart? It always felt kind of rude to invite a letter into a word and then tell it to shut up. Welcome to Spanish, the phonetic language, where all of our letters make sounds. So if you're ever reading a word in Spanish and you notice that that word includes a letter, feel free to pronounce it. Because that's why it's there. That's why letters exist in the first place. They represent sounds, and you pronounce them. So feel free to speak our sensible, phonetic Spanish language. Of course, there's a few things you'll need to keep in mind. B's and V's are kind of the same, but they're also reversed. And J's are not pronounced like they are in English. J's are Y's. Two L's together are also Y, by the way. But J is usually an H, and so is G. And X's are usually X's, but sometimes they're a throat full of phlegm. And for best results, lisp all of your S's. And that's it. That's all you need to know. Oh, there's one more thing. It's really minor, but here it is. All of our nouns have genders. Every single one. There are tens of thousands of them, and you just have to know what every single noun's gender is as soon as you encounter it, and it'll show up in basically every sentence you will ever say. And then French leans in and says, same with us. All of our nouns have genders as well. And then German leans in and says, our nouns can be one of three genders. Our nouns can be feminine, or masculine, or neuter. And does a noun's gender have anything to do with how feminine, or masculine, or neutral the thing itself is? No. It has no relation to gender stereotypes or traditional gender roles or really anything. Is there any kind of rule to help you remember what a noun's gender is? No. It's completely arbitrary. Does it serve any kind of function in the language? None whatsoever. And that's when English walks up and says, well, fuck that then. Nouns don't need genders. It doesn't make sense. It's complicated and it's pointless. So in English, we're not doing that. All of our nouns in English are its. Doesn't matter what they are. A chair is an it. A tube of lipstick is an it. A testicle is an it. A demented, demonic clown in a sewer grate is an it. An IT department is an it. Coke is it. That's it. And that's all you need to know. So feel free to come on in here and speak English, the language that actually makes sense. Of course, we do have some words that have multiple meanings that are completely unrelated, even though they're spelled and pronounced identically, like jam or nail or squash. And of that subclass of words, we have a subclass within that subclass where the words have multiple meanings that are spelled and pronounced identically, and the meanings are opposites, complete opposites of each other. For instance, to bolt means to shut a door so tight that nothing can get through it. But to bolt also means to run so fast no door can stop you. And fast means high speed. But fast also means something held down so tight it can't move at any speed. And to strike means to hit something. But to strike also means to try to hit something and miss. Then we have another subclass of words where they're spelled the same but pronounced differently and have unrelated meanings, like minute and minute, or resume and resume, or Polish and polish. And then we have yet another subclass of words that are spelled differently but pronounced the same and the meanings are unrelated, like there, and there. You don't have to worry about those. Nobody ever gets them confused. And then we have a list of words and expressions that don't actually make any sense whatsoever if you think about them. Thankfully, nobody ever does. For instance, if you're describing something to a friend that you witnessed and you want them to believe that that thing really did happen, you must say that you saw that thing with your own eyes. Even though this clearly implies that sometimes you see other things using somebody else's eyes. And if you're getting ready to go somewhere, and you're ready to go, but the person you're going with isn't ready to go, and they're taking their time getting ready, the thing that you say to speed them up is, chop, chop. You don't say this to somebody who's chopping something too slowly. You don't say this to somebody whose job is to chop something. They haven't started chopping that thing yet. You only say it to somebody who's getting ready too slowly. And you say it twice, only twice. Never 3 times, never once. You never say to somebody, chop! Because that wouldn't make any sense. And if you're gambling with dice, the term for that is craps. You would think that dice wouldn't want to be called that, given the word's much more common meaning, but it's actually the opposite. The dice stick their heads out of the drawer and they say, you can literally call us the same word as feces and people still want to play with us. With their bare hands. Or maybe that's just the way people used to gamble with dice. They didn't roll the dice with their hands, they swallowed them, waited one day, and saw what came out. Also, you can compare any state, internal or external, to hell, crazy, or fuck. You can say it's raining like hell, or I'm tired like crazy, or I'm hungry as fuck. If you don't want to say fuck, for religious reasons, say, you don't have to say it. You can just say the first letter. Or you can use a sound-alike word. You can do that with any swear word, any vulgar expression. Use a sound-alike. It lets you say it without saying it. It's a nifty trick. And if you follow the logic as to why you're doing this, if you're doing it for religious reasons, the conceit is that God is all-powerful and all-wise. But he's got a real bug up his ass about this list of words. Doesn't want you to ever say them. He's also all-knowing. He can read your mind. And he knows what word you're really thinking of. But he's a bureaucrat at heart. He's a real letter of the law kind of deity. So even though he would love to send you to a place of eternal torment for saying one of the words he doesn't like, you can squiggle through the loophole of shut the front door and there's nothing he can do about it. And that's all you need to know about speaking English. Other than that, it's a simple, clear, consistent language.